Hi everyone, I'm Abhishek from Team Smler. In this video, I'm gonna go over how to set up deferred links with Flutter. To set up deferred deep links in Flutter, we have two ways. One is using our SDK, which is provided, and the other one is going over the API docs and setting it up yourself. We would encourage either of the two routes in this video, but I'm gonna cover how to set up with SDK. Okay, here and here's the doc of how to set it up. One is for Android, the iOS, as well as the deferred deep links. For deferred deep links, we have published a package on Flutter which has all the steps on how to configure the SDK in your application. So I'm going to go over in detail how to configure it and how it works. Along with that, we have also published the repository as an open source MIT license. So you can download it, and if you wish not to use the SDK, you can download it and configure in your project and modify the code according to your needs. So let's head over to code and how to configure it. You're going to configure the deferred deep link section at the very top of your application as soon as the application launches. So in my case, as soon as the application starts, when the init state is called, I'm gonna start my application. So sorry, I missed one thing. I have already added my Smler deferred deep links SDK over here. Along with that, I also have a shared preference uh, SDK to store if the app is already launched or not. Now let's go over the init function, which has all the tracking parts. At the very top, I'm just checking if the app has already been initialized or not. This will be false when the app launches very first time in your customers Android or iOS device. If it has already been launched, we don't do anything, we just go ahead. Since the app is already launched, we already might have tracked the conversion event. Now, tracking a deferred link changes based on a platform. If it is Android, we do it a different way. If it is iOS, we do it in a different way. The very first one is, if it is Android has a first class support for referrer APIs. uh, I'll go over how a referrer link works very soon. But you see, with the Android one, it's really 100% accuracy, I would say, when working with this. To make a deferred link work in Android, you have to configure in your Android manifest XML file a permission to allow internet access to your application. If you miss this, uh, user user's application will not have internet access and they won't be able to hit Smler API. Okay. Make sure you have your internet permission, and then call the Smler deferred SDK to get the install referrer API for Android. The install referrer API, if the link was opened via a deferred link, it will have a click ID. If it includes a click ID, then you can simply track it, called track click, and this link would be marked as converted in Smler dashboard. And after this, you'll also get the API response. You can do any other step using this, and this is totally optional if you wish to do it. The same thing which I've explained here is written in code here with print statements. Now, heading over to iOS. On iOS, there's no native referrer API support. Uh, we'll have to use clipboard to track if a user is coming via a deferred app link or not. So while installing an iOS app, once a user clicks our deferred link, he or she would get a screen in between which would ask, hey, you are trying to reach this site, do you want to access this application? We'll copy a string in your clipboard, so that once you open the app, you would be redirected to appropriate screen. And if they agree, they can click copy the code and get the application. If they choose not to, we have to respect their privacy decision and not track them. Okay. And now once that is done, we would call the Smler deferred deep link get iOS referrer uh, get install referrer for iOS, sorry about that. And in this deep links, you are going to add your domain which you have configured in Smler dashboard. What this does basically is, once the app launches, it would check the keyboard clipboard, and if the clipboard contains this domain, only then we would read the string present in clipboard. If not, we won't read it, protecting the user's privacy, because possibly they have not agreed to copy the keyboard and have some other sensitive data in their clipboard. Now, If the data exists, which is, then this would be not null, and we'll see if click id exists, then we would track it. And that's it. This is the only piece of functional code you'd have to add in your application and to make this entire deferred link flow work. Also, another point to note, tracking a link is idempotent task. So even if you hit this endpoint multiple times, the conversion event will only be counted as once, and all the subsequent requested will simply be rejected, since the link is already marked as converted. Now, this is entirely the setup part. Now let's head over to a practical demo of how to create a deferred link. Let me log into my account first. So I have my dashboard. You would have to first configure a branded domain. In my case, I've already configured it. Now, how to set it up? I'll link a video at this point in this video. So you can click the I icon, go to that video, learn about how to setting up a custom domain, and come back here and continue it from here. But in a brief, you'll have to add your domain, go to your domain registrar, point the cname to smler.io. That's the only two step you have to do to configure a subdomain. Now let's head over to home. I'll go to customize and select my domain. And in the URL to short, I would add a fallback URL of my home page. Now, why a fallback URL? So let's say you have a deferred link where a user can open it on an iOS or an Android device. In that case, that's a valid path. If they are on Android, they will be redirected to Play Store. If on iOS, they would be redirected to App Store. But assume they are on a desktop device. Sending them to either Play Store or iOS App Store is not a valid path. So in that case, you can send them to an offer page or any marketing page or a home page, so that the user journey is not blocked. Next, once you have configured your domain, we would add a shortcode. This is optional step, but if you're running a marketing campaign, I would highly recommend to configure it. Let's say I'm running in on Facebook, Facebook sale 2026. Then I can have a shortcode something like this, but I'm gonna keep it simple, just Facebook, and I'll make sure that I enable link click tracking as well as deep linking. Now I have created this link. Now I'm going to show how the flow would work on an Android and iOS device, and then make then open this link on a physical Android device to see the end-to-end flow. Now I have this app open. This is more like a simulation. Now let's say I have this link which I've just created, go.sync3y.def/Facebook. Now if I click it, this is an Android simulation flow. It has sent me to the app, but let's analyze the URL. I'm gonna copy it, open it here, just zoom in a little. Yes, so we see the URL till this part is basically the Play Store URL where my app should be present, and then we have this referrer, and referrer is what I was talking about earlier. So Play Store, what it does, it would include this part, which is https go.sync3y.dev Facebook, and then click ID, and then a unique ID which would help us identify in tracking it. Now once this is passed on to your application once it is installed. Hence I was saying that Play Store's accuracy is close to 100%, since we have this accurate way of tracking clicks. Okay, now let's head over to and simulate an iOS flow. I'm gonna select iPhone, copy the link again. So you see, it is asking, hey, you're trying to access this link. Click the copy button. Clicking below will copy required page data and open it after your app installed. If they choose to get the app, they can click this one. If they choose not get the app without copying, they can choose this below one. Now I'm gonna open up my Android device, and sorry, I'm gonna open up my Android device here and show you how the end-to-end flow works. Let me pause my video till then. So yes, I have my Android app open. I already have that app, I guess. Let me just remove it. Oh, it's already removed. Okay, so I'm gonna click this link. I'm gonna open this. You see, it has sent me to the app, and this is a development app, so probably you won't have access to this application. You can develop your own and test it there. Now once this is installed, I'm gonna open it. Well, this app was already installed, so as you see the very first word which says already initialize, this would help us so that when the app is opened again and again in the same application, we don't pollute our tracking metrics. I'm just gonna clear the shared preference. Now you see this click was marked as converted, and along with that we have an response from Smler server which has all the details of your short link. You can use this to take any further actions or trigger any custom flows. This is up to you. Now let's head over to analytics to see how tracking was working in our application. I'll head over to deferred link, and we have the newly URL created here, Facebook. Now if I click stream, it has tracked total of three metrics. One is all in Delhi, one is Android, which I was when we started with demo. Next was the iOS demo flow which we did, and the third was the Android physical device installation. And you see it has marked this link as converted. Now this is a tabular view. You can download it in Excel and analyze it your end, or you can use it internally. Along with this, you also have analytics chart. Okay, this since this was analytics chart can take up to an hour to populate. I'm going to show you already created one which I was testing during day to see how it would look practically. So you see, I had all these clicks, and one during all these clicks I downloaded my application once. This is how the metric would look like, and it would show how your users have come. Was it marketing or direct click. In my case, I was just clicking from clipboard, hence it is direct. It also shows my operating system, the kind of browsers they are using, the kind of devices where user are clicking it from, with city, and also a map to show where most of your users are located. So this is the end-to-end flow on how to set up a deferred link with Smler along with the SDK. And if you have any further doubts, feel free to drop a comment below or drop us a mail. We would be happy to assist you in this entire journey. Thank you.